Welcome back to the Faithful Revelations. In today's video, we're diving into Naskh, a key concept in Islam that helps explain why some verses in the Quran seem to take precedence over others. If you've ever read the Quran and noticed what appears to be contradictions, Naskh helps clear things up. It's not about rejecting earlier verses, but understanding how the message unfolded over time. So stick around. This is an important concept that'll help you approach the Quran with greater clarity. So, what is Naskh? The word is often translated as abrogation, meaning to cancel or replace something. In simple terms, it refers to the idea that later verses in the Quran can override earlier ones. For example, if an early verse permits something and a later verse forbids it, the later verse is what Muslims follow. This isn't about contradiction, it's about progression. Naskh helps explain how the teachings of the Quran evolved over time to meet the needs of a growing community. Let's use a hypothetical example to make this clearer. Imagine there's an early verse that permits eating a certain food. Then, a later verse forbids it. According to the principle of Naskh, it's the later verse that stands, even though both verses are still part of the Quran. This isn't to say the earlier verse is wrong, but it's part of a progressive revelation, one that responds to changing circumstances. According to Islamic tradition, the Quran was revealed gradually over 23 years. During the life of Muhammad. Hadith suggests that these revelations were given in response to the events Muhammad faced, with later verses sometimes updating or clarifying earlier ones. This is where Naskh becomes essential. It helps us understand how the Quranic message adapted to new situations over time. To illustrate this, consider Surah Al-Baqarah 2-106. None of our revelations do we abrogate or cause to be forgotten, but we substitute something better or similar. Know you not that Allah has power over all things? This verse is one of the strongest references to abrogation, the principle that later revelations can replace or modify earlier ones. It clearly expresses that, when needed, something better or similar is substituted for what came before, indicating the evolving nature of the message. If you're interested in exploring this idea further, classical Islamic sources like the Hadith collections, Al-Tabari's History of Prophets and Kings, and Ibn Ishaq's Sirat Rasul Allah discuss how the Quran's revelation is tied to specific events in Muhammad's life. But for now, we're focusing on the Quran and the Hadith directly, as these are the primary sources for understanding Naskh. The Quran itself emphasizes that it is free of contradictions. For example, Surah 4-82. Do they not reflect upon the Quran? If it had been from anyone but Allah, they would have found many contradictions. Surah 39-27-28. And we have certainly presented for the people in this Quran every kind of example that they might be reminded. An Arabic Quran without any crookedness so that they may become conscious of God. Surah 41-42. Falsehood cannot come to it from before or behind. It is a revelation from the wise and praiseworthy. These verses highlight that the Quran should be consistent, and when apparent contradictions arise, Naskh helps us understand how to resolve them by following the most recent verse. Let's recap. Naskh is the principle which states that later verses in the Quran take precedence over earlier ones when there is a conflict. It's not about rejecting the earlier verses. It's about understanding the evolution of the message over time and how it adapted to new situations. Thanks for watching. If you found this helpful and want to see more content like this, content that dives deep into the roots of religious and philosophical ideas, please like this video, share it, and subscribe to the channel. Oh, and don't forget, seek the roots, find the truth.